Welcome back. As always, Monday night, I am Kevin Hauser, aka Tattoo, here with Andy Schectman, the one and only Andy Schectman, and John, who is
Not wearing lipstick.
not wearing lipstick
You
and,
know,
and, and trying to do a little bit of remodeling.
Kevin was, oh my gosh.
And welcome to the disco.
Kevin was very excited to show me something the other day. He said, "Look at this. When I run my name through
Oh
AI,
yeah,
it comes
yeah.
up as Kevin, aka
Tattoo.
Tattoo.
Yeah.
You become
I thought you were. I
famous."
thought you were going to talk. I thought you were talking about the Wayne Gretzky line that someone
Ah,
had used.
well,
That
that it's not. I didn't patent the name,
No, I
the
know,
phrase,
but
but
it's a good one.
it is a good
Well,
one.
I got to tell you, recent pullback, crash, correction, buying opportunity. Which one?
All of the above.
All right. Well, let's get into it. I mean, gold certainly has lost quite a bit from the top that we have seen. Broke the 5,000 level, broke the $4,500 level. Silver, of course, breached 100, breached the 90,
Yeah.
breached 70. Today we had a little bit of last night actually in the middle of the night when I got up, silver futures were down 6.
Gold was down almost 400
Yes,
bucks.
gold was down almost 400, silver was down 6. Then I woke up a little later and it seems that Trump had actually put a 5-day suspension on any power plant bombings, said that they had some productive talks with Iran. Equity markets rallied unbelievably, was up over, I think, 1,200 pre-market. Silver rallied back quite a bit, was at one point up on the day, closed pretty much flattish. Gold still off about 175. What do you make of it? What do you make of it?
Uh, you know, it's hard to always want to take the conspiratorial angle. So let's take the Main Street angle. You had a inflation number that's ticked up. You had a PPI number annualized at 0.7%. Multiply that times 12, you're almost at record inflation. You had the Fed chairman actually admit that we may actually have to raise rates if inflation gets out of control, not lower them. And that was all the market needed to, this theory, which it's really convenient that, the analysts, like there was an article in the Wall Street Journal, and the analyst said, this should be gold's time to shine, but it's not. And it's because rates are going higher. But they ignore the fact that for 2 years, as rates were climbing, gold was setting all-time highs.
Mhm.
It's convenient for them to use it and to forget about it when it moves the other way. I guess we're supposed to believe that the inflation numbers we are told are real, and we are supposed to believe that the interest or rates on the 10-year Treasury going to 4.3%, which is a big move, are enough to derail people from buying gold. And the reality is the dollar was down 10% against a melting ice cube basket of the dollar index. Your real return, even at a 10% decline right now, would be -6% if we believe the numbers that come out of the CPI. I mean, the CPI and the BS, the BLS. We shouldn't believe it. They're not real. They're massaged. They exclude so many things. And the bottom line is that it gave cover to knock the price down tremendously, while at the same time we're seeing deliveries off the chart. I mean, off the chart around the globe. I want to probably going to have to put my glasses on to see. I took down some notes. By the way, it's interesting. Most of the notes that I have center around silver. I do have some on gold too, but when we talk about things that have happened since then, a lot of the people are focusing, I think, too much on the mainstream narrative. I do,
Because that's what they're hearing.
yeah, but they're focusing on it in the respect that, like, for example, there was an article that came out and said that the United States, our trade deficit has improved 3 quarters, 3 out of the last 4 quarters, or 2 out of the last 3 months, rather, excuse me, 2 out of the last 3 months, or 3 out of the last 4 months. It was all mainstream, was all over X, and it said that we are exporting gold. and it didn't make sense to me. And it basically said that the summation was that China was demanding gold for rare earths because our munitions were running low. And Michelle and I she was asking me this on an interview and kind of caught me off guard with it. And I said, listen, it doesn't make sense to me. She was reading the story, and in the story, they talk about all this metal that's coming back um, from Venezuela in the form of doré.
Mm.
And I said to her, I said, I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this, Michelle, but I don't believe this is right. It sounds to me more like that doré is being sent to Switzerland for refining. It would show up on the import-export numbers the same way. The mainstream is saying that gold has reached its peak. The U.S. is selling it to pay down its debt, et cetera, and frames it as gold is topped. And I said, that doesn't seem right to me. And she was mentioning the name of the company and was having a hard time mentioning it. It's called Trafigura. And Trafigura is the middleman between the Venezuelan export and the United States. And I'm not exactly sure what Trafigura is. It's some form of a big
Conglomerate
yeah,
type
I don't know
company.
exactly what they do, so I shouldn't even try to
That's
guess.
okay.
But anyways, I
You
said
pronounced it well.
she couldn't, and I said, listen, I don't think that this is right. I said, I think that this is it would show up the exact same way whether we were paying China for rare earths or sending doré for export. So, anyways, we talked about it a bunch, and then I got an email a couple days ago, and it says, "Hi Andy, I was watching your show with Michelle McCory, and you two were discussing where the gold doré was being sent. I heard Michelle mention Trafigura as being the middleman. And that kind of blew my mind because my son-in-law works for Trafigura. So I texted him, and he did verify the gold doré is going to Switzerland to be refined. So you were right on your hypothesis." And I sent her a very nice thank you for sending that. Now, this isn't mainstream credibility, but it is nonetheless supporting what I believe to be true. In any respect, if the mainstream can espouse that gold has reached its peak, that it was overbought, that the move towards higher interest rates or even rates that aren't being lowered would be enough impetus for gold to sell off this way. I don't believe any of it. I think that's what maybe started the ball down the hill. You had massive leverage. Sorry, that's what happens when I do it at home. Massive leverage with speculators built into this system, into the COMEX ecosystem that have been flushed, massively flushed. And in fact, in silver right now, the commercials have their lowest short position, I think, ever. They flushed everybody out. And I think that really was the objective at the same time, to cover short positions so these banks in the United States can get on sides. I think that's what they're doing, and pickpocket, because the deliveries are continuing off the chart. They're continuing here in March, just like they have for the last 16 months before. And I think I can tell you so far in March, we've seen over 40 million ounces. Oh, by the way, there was an article on X, and I forgot to write down who said it, and I'm sorry. It's very interesting. It said in the March 20th COT report, commitment to traders, JP Morgan closed out 633 short contracts of silver at the exact bottom. That's 3,165,000 ounces. In March, so far, there have been 12,532 contracts delivered of gold and 8,713 silver contracts issued and stopped delivered in silver. That was as of yesterday, according to Ed Steer. So if we take 8713 times 5,000, so far in March, we've seen over 43 million ounces delivered into COMEX. And in terms of gold, we have seen 1,252,300 ounces of gold delivered.
How
Now,
many, how many silver? What was the number on silver?
of course, you asked me that.
I know. I'm just,
43 million or so
I
ounces.
know it's only 88 million last time that we were roughly on air.
Yeah,
Just looking at
well, it's
COMEX.
interesting. A lot of it's yes, yes. I don't know exactly. Let's see, what did I say? I don't know exactly what the registered number is down to at this point, but it's being bled
Dry.
dry.
Right.
It's interesting also that we saw 2 million ounces of silver were loaded out in 1 day. That's according to loaded out means left the building. That was as of last Friday, I believe, according to Ed Steer. And he says 102 million ounces in January and February combined was moved out of the system, plus 26.716 million ounces so far in March, on top of being into the 6th year of a structural deficit. So when you talk about deliveries by the most sophisticated players in the world, including some of it leaving COMEX, to me, price doesn't matter. One last thing I want to talk about gold. This is an interesting one. Where did that go? I did not want to do that. I think I just deleted that crud. Let me just see. So there was a very large bet made on Wall Street here. Let me find it.
Futures
While
bet?
I look for it, why don't you? Here it
So,
is right here. Hang
okay,
on.
go ahead.
So this is about gold, and I find this one interesting. Very, very interesting. And I know you want to talk about Jane Street, so
No, I definitely want to talk about that. But I want to talk about some confusion that I think I have that a lot of people have.
yeah. Oh, by the way, China came out and said 790 tons of silver imported in the first 2 months of this year. February alone was 470 tons, the highest monthly import volume ever recorded. This is as the paper price is getting smacked around, which I find to be interesting. Um, the other things we want to talk about at some point was the exact total being delivered out in February, 38-ish million ounces, and the 38 million ounces that have left the ETFs at the same time. I wonder if those numbers are closely coordinated. Hang on one second. I'll find that.
I had the same notes that you were talking about.
So anyways,
Give them all
here,
the time.
here's the key point. Someone bought 11,000 2026 December gold bull spreads, 15,000 to 20,000. You buy the 15 and you sell the 20,000. They bought this after the crash in January. So this was after the price cratered. And that's the key point. Retail sold the panic, and a large player used the washout to build 1.1 million ounce massive position at about 3 million ounces, $3 million. They're betting that by the end of this year, the price goes between 15 and 20,000.
That's what I needed you to explain because most people, I don't think necessarily understand what the spread is or the basket. Basically, that's what it is. They are betting that gold will fall somewhere between 15 and 20 million, 15 and 20,000 an ounce, and that's where they will profit.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Which is, I mean, that's pretty considerable.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to just understand a little bit is, and it's been on a lot of podcasts, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. Some of the things that I think everybody, including myself, would have thought is, why haven't gold and silver surged more given the escalating geopolitical, landscape that we're in? And I think what surprised me most is that they're still using the dollar cash as the safe haven. And, when I thought about it, I said, well, you have the dollar, you have the euro, you have all other currencies that could be garbage, could be shit, right? The only one that is universal to every country that doesn't dictate anything with what's going on geopolitically or anything in that nature are the metals.
Right.
That's it. So why and who is behind it, which then I guess is going to be what you and I just talked about prior to going live, is Jane Street.
Yep.
So I'll let you kind of cover that. You probably know a hell of a lot more about it than I do, but it's definitely one of those
Before I
things.
talk about
Yeah.
that, it's interesting that you say that, because in terms of the dollar being the safe haven, is it?
Mm.
I don't know that it is, because I say that to you because the treasury yield is going higher. I mean, the bonds are being sold off. That was typically the safe haven. So,
And that's on the short end, right?
right. No, that would be, I mean, the 10-year is up to almost 4.5%. So in other words, the treasury was typically the safe haven, and the safe haven is being sold. And it seems to me the dollar is catching a bid because everything is being sold off. You're seeing everything be sold, and the dollar gets a bump as
Baby out
everything
with the
goes into
bathwater.
dollars.
Yeah.
I wonder if the U.S. Treasury is looked at as a safe haven any longer. I don't think it should be, and I think much of the world thinks that is that way also. As far as Jane Street, they were sued, I guess, by India for doing something that many think they've done here, where they develop a massive position in the stock, and then they get an even bigger, and that you can see by something I think called a 13F. It's a filing.
Yes.
But then they take a huge position in options. And so they, in essence, they had 21 million shares or something. And I don't know, I don't think this is proven, right? I think there's a lot of speculation because this is exactly what they did in India with the markets there, where they buy the underlying stock and sell the options, or buy the options that would profit if the price goes down, and then dump the shares. They lose on the shares, but they make 4, 5, 10 times more on the options. And it's highly manipulative. And there are a lot of people crying foul, especially when you have JP Morgan as the custodian of SLV, the fox guarding the henhouse, the company who paid the largest fine to the Justice Department ever for manipulating metals. And here you got Jane Street, who had the largest position of anyone in SLV shares leading up to the crash. The question being asked is, did they accumulate all of these options that would profit if the price fell, corner, in essence, the massive share load in SLV, and then dump SLV to profit on their options? That's really what people are saying. And it's interesting.
And interesting to add on to that, in Q3 of 25, they only had the position of about 40,000 shares in SLV.
Yeah, in one
They
quarter.
had a 500-time increase
in one quarter.
in one quarter.
Yeah.
And of course, when they filed their 13F right after, it showed that they had a substantially lowered position,
Yeah.
which is, again, to do that in such a short time frame, things that make you go,
That's
very.
that was a great. Can you put on so we can see the question?
Yeah.
The things that make you go, Grant Williams did
Yeah.
amazing video. Things that make you go,
So we
People
got
check
the
it out.
first one. Hollywood RPI just asked about the Jane Street manipulation. So I mean that's one of the things that, I don't necessarily consider that conspiracy. I mean, you can't call that conspiracy when a company like that makes billions and billions and billions of dollars in such a short period of time with such an enormous bet.
Yep.
An enormous bet. I have to believe something is a little deeper. The information that they had is not information that I think anybody else did.
And where conspiracy and reality intersect was this okayed by the powers that be to bring the price down, to get the banks on side? And then, is there any coincidence that the U.S. wants to be accumulating silver for a strategic stockpile, Project Vault? It's now a critical mineral. I don't know. I mean, it's. I wish I didn't. I wish I wasn't skeptical as I am about everything these days when it comes to the markets. But as Chris Paul once said, there aren't any free markets anymore, just manipulations. Look, I interviewed E.B. Tucker today. He thinks that the markets are not manipulated. They're controlled, maybe, but not manipulated. And I don't know if I agree or not. I would just simply say that there's a lot of things in this market right now that make you go, And I would say it again, when you see the deliveries that we're seeing and the loadouts, these people don't mess around. They go to where the puck is going, as we talked about earlier. And when you're spending billions of dollars every month for the better part of a year and a half, something is more significant. And when China is buying the largest import of silver ever in the import numbers, when the price is getting clubbed, I think it's easy to discern, if you can pull out the emotion, that even as the BIS said, this was largely structural, not fundamental, meaning they came out and said it's because of all the people in levered ETFs and the margin increases, the levered ETFs that rebalance, some of them every day, which needed to be rebalanced at the first of the year, the first month in January, bang, they collapse it. And all of the margin increases, everyone got hammered, and all of that speculative excess, goodbye. And now you have very, very low open interest, and you have a very low short position by the banks in silver, the lowest ever, according to Ed Steer. When you have very low open interest, you have a market that can explode because there's not a lot of paper to absorb, either way. So I don't
Well,
know.
I think most people, and I think at least I believe that most people were focusing on the metals, being that the Fed was not going to cut rates, or at least not going to cut until maybe December, and that, you know, yeah, they might not cut them, but I don't think they're going to increase them either. And I think the Fed is in a catch 22.
Well, they came out
Uh,
and actually said they may raise them if
they
things
might.
they can't
I don't
lower
think
them.
that they will,
They
but
can't
I
lower
think in the not too distant future, it's going to have to pick inflation
Stop.
against propping up the economy. And to me, I think when they get to those crossroads, they're going to choose inflation,
They always have.
and that's it. And I think when that happens, then we're going to see, and I think it's going to happen a lot sooner than that. But I think you're going to start to see a lot more people rush back into both the metals.
I agree.
That's what I think.
Mila's back.
I know.
Oh.
I didn't think she ever went away because she was chewing on my toes before.
Why is she wet?
So, all right. So we answered the first one. Um, Here we go. Deja vu 0101. Can BRICS do something to stave off the geopolitical credible threats? That's a nice Lady Fortuna little.
I mean, the BRICS are doing things in a way that doesn't equate to the Western psyche. People don't understand it. They're very methodical in what they are doing, and what they are doing that is credible, to stave things off is they're building rails that are, um, independent of trading in US dollars. They will trade in local currencies. They are expanding the Shanghai Metals Exchange into, various locations, various jurisdictions. So they will settle imbalances in gold through SIPS, the cross interbank payment system, and through MBridge, which is operational, where you're getting more and more countries. And I think, this is, again, you can see why these countries would want to hold dollars is beyond me, or sell us their stuff for dollars, which we can create, ad nauseum, and forever. And then treasuries, which you can create currency and buy treasuries. The whole thing is nuts. I think when we cross that line with Russia, I think the cast, the die was cast, and it's just a matter of time. They're all deciding to slowly move away from settling in dollars, trade, and then settling in balance or trading in dollars. They would rather trade in local currencies, settle in balances in gold. And you can see that by the amount of gold that they're all purchasing, and by the rails that are being set up, with the first vault being done or built already in Hong Kong, which is significant, because for gold to leave China, it has to come out of Hong Kong. They've made the yuan convertible into gold immediately without going into dollars. And the second vault is being built in Saudi Arabia, with more to come throughout the Belt Road, where Saudi Arabia can sell their oil to China for the digital yuan and immediately convert right now in Hong Kong through the Shanghai Metals Exchange in Hong Kong those yuan into gold and take possession. Soon it will be in their own backyard, and soon it will be in all of these countries, which will connect with not only the BRICS Metals Exchange, which will be built, but also all of the others, throughout, Asia for sure, in Singapore, in Dubai, in St. Petersburg, in Moscow, all of these vaults in India, they will all be connected for settling imbalances. That's part of the plan, and it is happening. But I think where people get dismissive is that it takes a long time, and they don't do things so fast and rush to only, incite the anger and ire of this current administration. I think the groundwork is being laid, and I wouldn't be surprised to, over the next few years, see it become very significant. But it won't happen overnight. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
I think one of the things that everybody has to really ask themselves, because literally, I mean, this last, call it 10 days or so, I've had a whole bunch of people call in to buy, thinking it's a great opportunity. And I've had a couple of people that have called in to what I think is panic sell, thinking that they're listening to, whomever's out there, that gold's going to hit 3,000 to 3,500, silver's going back down to 35. And I think my thought when they asked me, what do I think? I said, I just think you have to think about it. And over the long term, I don't want to hold a large pile of fiat dollars, not while the federal government keeps running enormous deficits and piling on this debt. And, I don't want to be stuck with a bunch of dollars, or any fiat currency for that matter. And definitely don't want to be sitting on the dollars when the Fed fires up the printing press once again.
Well, I was thinking about this the other night, and I was thinking, like, what do we do? Because if for whatever reason the will of the voters, or it becomes so unpopular, or we leave and leave this to all of these other countries to police, but Iran still has control of the straits, it will massively embolden, I think, the de-dollarization. And all of these countries will say, what are we doing with the US? They just failed miserably. Iran is still in charge. I think it could rapidly escalate de-dollarization if we stay there and accelerate this war, and the energy infrastructure gets worse and worse and worse by the day. Higher energy costs mean higher inflation, which mean higher interest rates. We have $10 trillion worth of treasuries that come due this year that need to be refinanced. Higher interest rates you saw what happened when, the rates went anywhere near 5%. You had the banks blowing up. You had the Fed pivoting. We're right there. And so what do? And you already have a problem where it's not just higher gas prices. We're already at Biden era gasoline prices, but you also have massive disruptions in helium, which are used to make AI chips. You have massive disruptions in liquid natural gas, which is used to make fertilizer. And where could this lead? Ultimately to famine, to the AI boom busting because the chips are too expensive, or leading to a recession because of high energy costs and inflation, which would derail the AI boom, which is all based on a set of assumptions that are not really real right now. The knockoff effects are real, and I don't know what the easy answer is. If we just get out and fail at this, and Iran still has control, well, all these other countries will laugh at us and will question the wisdom of being allies for military protection.
And I think that there's a lot of economists out there that already think that we are in the beginning stages of a recession. And these are the things that they were talking about the other day on TV with Taco. Taco?
No, who's that?
Taco is Trump always chickens out.
Oh.
Because he said, again, and it's one of those things, he's going to bomb the power plants. What happens? Market shits the bed.
Good.
Everyone panics, freaks out. This morning, it's going to give a 5-day hiatus on it.
See,
markets rally 1,000 points.
This is the difference between the BRICS and the United States. The markets react like that, whereas the BRICS use the pullback to China uses it to be the largest import of silver in the history of recorded records in February, after the market got devastated. So that's the difference. People here are so silly and reactionary. And I always say this is why there is a school of investment theory called wave theory, Kondraty and Elliott wave, which measures the cumulative emotions of the herd, from greed and euphoria, irrational exuberance, to panic and fear, and oh my God, sell everything. And it's irrational. You are dealing with professional traders who know where the pain points are, who know how to tug at your emotions. And you have to take a step back and ask, what the hell has changed? It's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. It will go back.
Fundamentally, nothing has changed.
Even the BIS said that. The BIS said this is all structural, related to leverage ETFs that had to reallocate, rebalance, and massive margin increases. So that they said it was structural, not fundamental. It is.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some questions here. Gary Green, 7540, said, are we ever going to see the AG-AU ratio compressed to normal historical ratios of 40 to 1 or better? Talking heads are calling for 15 to 1, and the craziest are calling for 1 to 1. Your thoughts?
It won't go to 1 to 1, I don't think, and it could go that low. It got down to 50 to 1 here briefly.
Under 50 to 1. We were calling some people to do some swaps.
Look, I mean, if there's a big time recession, the conventional wisdom is it won't. And that's they can use that in terms of selling it off, but yet the deliveries betray that logic. Silver is more valuable than the paper price. Right now, there is a 12 or 13% VIG still, arbitrage enticement in China, plus the VAT tax that is responsibility of the recipient, not the deliverer, shipper. They're willing to pay in essence, 25% more than the West. Will we get to that? We need to get real price discovery.
And by the way, as I say, when people ask, can silver go to 300? It sure can. But before we get to 300, let's just get to the 100. And then we can worry about the numbers beyond that. And you can make decisions that you think are right for yourself as we go forward. But let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's see us, we have some making up to do. There's no question about it. And I do think with the way that we've seen a huge downturn of almost 50% from the top, I wouldn't be surprised to see any one of these days that we wake up and we see silver up 12, $15 in the morning. I don't think it's far-fetched to see gold up 200 to 300 in the morning. I don't. I think that the days of the small 1 to 2% moves, which were a lot at that point in time, are no longer.
Well, wait till the U.S. banks are net long, really net long, and you'll see that.
That's what I'm saying.
And I guess.
By the way, I think that's really what's going on.
Of
I think the
course
banks
it
are now
is.
taking the long
They
position.
are, and dropping it down to that level allows them to clean house, and it is what it is. This is not about people selling or the case for owning metals changing. It's not at all. In fact, it's the opposite of that. But nonetheless, give the talking heads an opportunity to bash on gold and silver, and they'll do it. And it just throws people off the scent even more while we see record deliveries and record loadouts.
How about this? I'm gonna put a question up, and then I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
See, I don't have my glasses on.
you
so
won't
you
need
know
it for
I'm
my
not looking
question.
at
I
any
know.
notes here.
Dominic Margarita. Are my metals safe at Delaware Depository? I'm set up with my equity trust. Should I take possession or are they safe? If you have silver in Delaware Depository, you are in a commingled facility. Delaware does not segregate silver. I think that they are safe. It's not necessarily my favorite of depositories because, as Andy and I always tell our clients, we like to segregate metals when we send them into a depository. So if I had my druthers or my choice,
Good word.
yeah, yeah,
Druthers.
druthers. I would always choose a segregated facility. We prefer IDS in Dallas. However, IDS in Dallas right now is causing us a little bit of a pain in the butt. They have been very, very slow in expediting orders to be moved, whether it's a buyback
Another good
or
word. Expediting.
well, they're not expediting. They are very lax in what they're trying
Do
to
you
do.
know Delaware Depository is a COMEX vault? It is a
Yeah,
COMEX
yeah.
facility. Yeah, your silver is safe there. What I don't like about it, and I had lunch with the owner's son. Nice guy. And I like him. And he said, why won't you send more metal our way? I said, because you don't segregate IRA silver. And that's not good in my opinion, right? I'm not speaking poorly of DDSC. They're a fine company. But he said we just can't do it. We do gold, but not silver. Now IDS does, Dakota Depository does. There are many that do. If you don't segregate, you can allocate, meaning it's in the IRA pool and it belongs to those who deposited metal from equity trust, right? But segregated means you put a drop of nail polish on that bar of coin, that's one you get back. Now, I can give you two examples, bad ones, that negatively impacted my clients.
And give them that.
So one of them was a client of mine who bought millions of dollars worth of 100-ounce bars at $4 an ounce, sold his company, cashed out his IRA, and I met him at our vault in North Dakota. I drove 3 hours, he drove a couple, and we met up there for lunch. And this was way back in the day. Now, I was many years ago asked to promote the IRA division of Gold Star, which used to be American Church Trust. And I didn't know this until years ago when this happened. This day, we get into the vault, we open up all the boxes. He had bought millions of dollars worth of Johnson, Matthey, and Engelhard bars, which back then in the 90s and early part of this decade, they were the name brand bars. You didn't see RCM bars, really, Royal Canadian Mint. You didn't see Valcambia or Pamp. Everyone wanted Johnson, Matthey, and Engelhard. When we opened the boxes, there was maybe 5% Johnson, Matthey, and Engelhard. The rest were Academy stackable bars, which are generic. They would do nothing about it. The difference at when he sold them at almost $40 an ounce, making all this profit, was about $200 a bar on a lot of bars, a couple thousand. he was out hundreds of thousands of dollars and they would do nothing about it
because of the allocation model.
because they are guaranteed to give you back bars, but not the bars you
Correct.
put in. And
Yeah.
so I had another example where a friend of mine traded. He was going to Afghanistan for the army, and he's like, I just want to take possession of my stuff and give it to my wife. I'm like, listen, you're being deployed soon. Take my 2 boxes. We'll sit down, we'll fill out the paperwork, have the 2 boxes delivered to my office where I received them. They were not strapped and they were different dated coins in all the tubes and they didn't look good. And at that moment, I said, I can't do this anymore. And tell people in good conscience to put their silver in there. When I tell people the biggest benefit of having a precious metals IRA is the ability to stand for delivery. If you believe enough in it to put it in your IRA, why not be able to stand for delivery? It's called a in-kind liquidation or distribution. Give me
And by the way, the difference between the allocated and the segregated is maybe $50 a year. So that's really all it is.
But they don't offer it there.
They don't offer it. But
Unless
that's
you
why
get 1,000-ounce bars
Yeah,
because they're numbered, but it's because they're a COMEX
Yeah.
facility, so they can do that.
And that was a question because, like, in essence, another dealer could, in essence, sell you impaired gold
Yes.
eagles, not listed on the invoice as
Yes.
impaired gold eagles, and then you get the impaired
Well,
gold
in
eagles.
my opinion, the silver eagles I got were impaired,
Right.
and it bothered me. It's gotten to the point where some dealers really don't love taking stuff out of there for that reason because they're paying out on stuff that they don't know what it's going to look like, and that's a problem. Now, if it was outside of the IRA, if you open an account there, I don't think you'd have a problem. I think they would segregate it. Bottom line is segregation is everything, and if you're going to do it, if you're going to have an IRA in metals,
Right.
choose a depository that segregates it in your name, not allocates it to the whole IRA account.
Yeah. So here's my question, because this one really pissed me off. And then it actually snowballed, and I had a bunch of clients actually ask me. I have a couple of clients that have money with a wallet that they hold metal in that is convertible to actual metal. There were some rumblings that there might have been some issues with a specific wallet. My first client has about 650,000 in her money wallet, and she wanted to take delivery and switch it over to our BRICS program. And there's no phone number. You can only text. So she texted, and she got the response that said management said that it's not in their terms of service to send the metal to another depository. Now, this is a fairly elderly woman. And by the way, it doesn't even need to be elderly. Maybe even if you're 40, if you're a man at 40, you have $650,000 worth of silver delivered to your home, and then you have to turn around and deliver it to a depository. And then I had another 2 people. Well, number one, ask for the terms of service. There is nothing in that terms of service that states they will not ship to a depository.
So I can tell you that over the years, I've had metal shipped to our BRICS account from other depositories, and almost universally, the only thing they ask is that they need an account number established first. So we would open up an account for said person, give them an account number, and say, here's the account to send it to. When you hear things like that, the immediate thing I think of is scam.
I know, but what do you do? What do I do? She's now got 650 grand. Her option is they want to charge her, I think, almost 6,000 to ship to her home, which I ran the quote from us direct to Brinks. It was 1,300.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. I mean, the only thing I told her to do was potentially get in touch with a lawyer, have her write a demand letter, and see if they budge on it. But the problem is, no one picks up the phone. There's no phone. How do you have 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures with an entity, and there's no phone number?
You're not going to mention who it is.
No,
but I know the brother of the owner of that place. He's a good guy. Let me see if I can.
We got to figure something out, because I know that you have a client that is looking to move a lot into Brinks, no?
Yeah.
Right. So we got to figure something out, because Again, and they will take advantage of clients, not
Not
just mine,
right.
right?
This is not right. These are things that are silly.
And then, of course, it just causes even more concern for those people that were concerned to begin with to make them want to move. Now it's a huge headache. I mean, at the end of the day, I told the worst case scenario is you have it sent to
Has
you.
this place never had a phone number, or do they just take it down?
No,
Why would anyone
I
do
don't.
business with anyone who doesn't have a phone number? I mean, I've talked to so many of my clients at weird times of day and night and weekends. It's insanity. And they're calling my cell phone. The fact that there's no way to contact would make me instantly itchy all over.
I mean, look, I'm probably the most accessible, even with you. You're sometimes extraordinarily difficult to get in touch with because you're busy doing what you do every day. I have to a fault, my phone attached to my ear almost 24/7.
Boy, I
But
hate to
how
hear that.
how a entity who is custodying,
That's not a word.
well,
Now you failed. Yeah,
taking
good words
custody,
there for a while.
taking custody of millions of
That's
dollars of
better.
people's metals and not have a phone number? I mean, you got to believe
And
it's one person sitting behind the desk.
this is why I use BRICS, because I want separation between church and state. You should never store it in the vault, my opinion, in the vault with the company you bought it from. It just, like Tulving had the same problem, Bullion Direct had the same problem. I think Northwest Territorial Mint. Um, I don't know. That's why I use Brinks personally. And I'm not speaking to any programs here. I shouldn't have said that's why you don't want to do it. That's not fair. Because there are companies like Money Metals that are solid and above board, and I have zero problem with them at all. Zero. I don't know of any others that do, but I think that when you hear something like that, I would move faster
I
than
know,
that.
not walk, run.
Yeah.
Yeah. John, this one's for you. It says Kevin needs another vacation, both tonight and during the last show. He looks more stressed than usual.
Usually that's directed at me. I feel
Mhm.
good actually. I got to tell you, I got a buddy named Adam, and I think Adam will probably be watching this. And Adam's changed my life, man. Honest to God. Like, I'm serious. I've never slept this good in years.
Well, what are you
He's a
doing?
pharmacist, and he told me about these two supplements. And my wife, he said, when I took it, Adam said to me, when I take it, and he watches these a lot, he says, when I take it, my girlfriend thought I was dead. My wife said I don't snore. And I mean, I'm sleeping all night long, and it feels like you've taken antihistamine. Bang! All of a sudden, you can breathe when you take it.
All
10
right.
minutes
So
later,
I thought you and I were actually friends.
well, I wanted to try it first. To the point, I bought like 10 bottles of it. So
You know that I don't ever sleep.
He actually bought, and I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I'm doing my friends a favor.
I'm going to give it to you
But I
guys.
haven't gotten one.
I wanted to test it first.
And he said he wanted to try it.
Okay, now you
I
tried
just
it?
got I have one of those sleep number beds, and
Yeah.
it tells you how good you sleep. I've got a thing that's like, congratulations, you've never slept better. I'm like, and I mean, I do. It's
All right,
insanity.
well, you're giving before I leave tonight. You're
I
giving it
will.
to me because last night
One of them
was
is
like
beetroot and something else. Adam, I love you. In fact, listen to
Go grab it.
listen to what Adam said to me when I text him. He
Wow.
mentions you. They're yours, and they don't fit.
Wait, which Adam are we talking about?
You don't know.
Okay.
I want to read to you what he said, which is really
All
funny.
right, well, I'm going to go to a question while you do it.
He says,
Okay, we'll wait.
I'm going right up the favorite friend list with Mama. That's even more important than impressing tattoo. She will tell him that he was like me, or that he asked to like me. Oh, you know who wanted to come on tonight? Let's see.
Who?
Coots? No, he's probably too busy.
Who?
No, Silver Slayer. I'm not going to bother him. He's busy.
Okay. All right, let's get back to some more
You'd
questions.
be surprised to know my zipper was down.
Never, but I'm not looking. But yes, it is. By the way, when we play golf, there's two things that are a
I wasn't
constant.
coming on to you, by the way.
I thank you. There were two things that are a constant when Andy plays golf. One, his zipper is down, and number two, the tag on his shorts is always out. All right, so is this moringa? Is that
Yeah,
the
I
type
don't know.
of? Yeah,
Yeah.
moringa
You take 2 before bed and 2 of those.
and beetroot. They're
Adam, I love you, man. I'm telling you, it's insanity.
Are these
Like,
mine?
yeah,
Oh,
those
beautiful.
ones that are not open. Yeah, yeah, they're really amazing. And like, I notice a difference and I wake up and I'm not dead tired and I sleep through the night. It's wicked.
And one first night it worked.
For
First night?
sure the second night. I think the first night it did too, but
Two each?
two each at
Done.
the, yep.
Done. All right. So here we go.
Thanks, Ed.
I appreciate you. Jules Muffles says, "Hi guys. Why are March and May so important for the contracts?"
Because they are primary delivery months. January is, February's not, March is, April's not, May is, so they are primary delivery months.
Is it just 1 month on, 1 month off?
I don't know if it's exactly that way. I think it is, but I do know that January, March, and May are primary delivery months, and February and April are not.
Okay. There you go. Cash Velocity 4989 wants to know why hasn't China drained the COMEX of physical silver?
That's a lot. This is what I was saying earlier, that the people in this country, and I don't fault them, we've grown up. Look at the people, the kids that have grown up in the land, like your son and my kids, who have grown up around, and your daughter, who have grown up first. You got Texas Hold'em, you got Apple and Nvidia, you got Bitcoin, you got all of these crypto things where get rich, get rich, get rich, and people can gamble on their phone and you can bet on everything. Instant gratification is not quick enough. If they tried to do that, the whole exchange would blow up and they would be crowded out of their trade and the whole thing would blow up. So instead, little by little by little by little by little, they do the paper cuts, 1 million paper cuts slowly from all around the globe, bleeding it dry from wherever they can, and they'll maximize what they can take. They do, like, I think they do 5-year plans. Every 5 years, they come up with another 5-year plan, which connects with their 100-year plan. They do things in a very methodical fashion that ultimately puts them in a position that can't be beat. But if you do things too quickly, as rational and smart as it sounds, it's irrational, because the market would say, no, game over, can't do it. And what you're doing is in violation and you're trying to corner the market, you're out. It would not end well. That's exactly why. But they take the largest import ever after it gets slammed down. They're going to play our game. We want to play the game. They'll beat us at it by standing for delivery. That's what they're doing.
I like this one, and this is what we've been talking about forever. At Tom Hall 7250 says, "Who really oversees the price of metals?"
Supposed to be this in the United States, the CFTC. And that's why I've urged everyone to watch the Bart Chilton interview with Chris Marcus, and same one with Andrew Maguire. He did them before he died, where he goes into this and ultimately was told to back down from levying a prosecution on JP Morgan. Back down, Bart. It's a political decision, he was told. Google Chris Marcus, Arcadia Economics, Bart Chilton, or Andrew Maguire / Bart Chilton. He was the head of the CFTC, admitted a lot of these things, admitted that Bear Stearns largely went bankrupt because they held a large short position in silver at 12 and it went to 21. And Jamie Dimon was asked to take the position. He agreed, but said he'd be in position, or JP would be in violation of position limits. They were given a period of time to work that out. And at the end of that time, Bart Chilton went into his superiors and said, not only have they not shortened their position as per our agreement, they've increased it. They're in violation of our agreement and antitrust law. They need to be prosecuted. His superiors, which would have been Hank Paulson, the Treasury Secretary, said, back down, Bart. It's a political decision. He said this on both interviews and died shortly thereafter. Not saying there's causation or correlation. He was maybe a sick man who was clearing his conscience. I don't know, but you had the head of the CFT admit that this stuff happens, and it happens until trust is gone. And when trust is gone, that's when pricing will move elsewhere.
And Andy and I are definitely both on the same page, where we wish that there were federal regulation on this industry.
That's
for
why
many
I
reasons.
left the company in Minnesota.
I know.
By the way, to think that can't happen, what did India just do? Starts next month.
They did.
India just said we no longer want to use the London benchmark price.
They're not going to, starting April 1st.
For our ETF market, because it's fugazi.
That's it.
So instead, we want to use the price sets that we calculate here in India,
That's
which
it.
is a more so
Based on the physical demand of metal.
right.
That's what
And so what you're going to see is over time, because trust is everything. So instead, they don't trust us already. They know what we're doing. They've known what we've been doing for years. So instead, They're sophisticated, coordinated, motivated, and wealthy, and damn smart. And they're standing for delivery slowly, not to upset the apple cart, but slow enough to slowly bleed dry. That's why you've seen this arbitrage not go away. Arbitrages go away quickly, where sophisticated traders would buy here and sell there, and that arbitrage would go away. But it's been months now, an elevated arbitrage, because they know that they will slowly incentivize more and more and more to be sent there at a huge premium.
Yeah. So, I mean, but those are the things that's we always talk about it, and we get a lot of the Fugazi companies that we deal with that should never have been, forgetting the fact that the price of spot metals have been down to exacerbate the
Oh, another
losses.
good word.
Yeah, well, that is what they do. They
Way to
exacerbate the
go,
losses
Kevin. Way
in
to
these
go.
IRAs by charging them. I saw one the other day.
Do you think that's why the AI is picking up your because you're using big words?
But
And
did you know, by the way, there's now an AI woman? Did you see
I
that?
saw her.
You see
Yes.
her?
Yeah.
And she's Asian as well.
Why do they all have to be
I don't
Asian?
know. How come none? Well, there is you. There is
There
an
was
AI
one of
and
me.
check.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it really freaked me out. The
Yeah.
fingers were
Yeah.
freaking me out.
I think you had 7 fingers on my
Could have
hand.
been. Yeah.
Let me check it. Yeah, I know you're good. But yeah, I saw one the other day, and this is they bought this individual gold when it was at like 5,300. They charged a quarter ounce of gold for what they, premier investment grade metals was 2,900.
Oh,
2,900
that's so
for a
three,
quarter ounce.
6, 9, 12, so 12,000.
$12,000 ounce.
What's wrong with that?
$12,000 ounce.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe that?
Well, maybe someday.
Yeah, when everyone else is making triple their money, these people get to break even. It's wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the one that actually has a decent buyback policy. Um, let's go with this one, Robert Erickson. What is your current position on whether or not we pursue being the world currency? Well, I think that you go over that quite a bit with not wanting to be
Oh, I think
the reserve.
I think they don't want to be the
Right,
reserve
and that way we
currency.
bring manufacturing back to the States.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't be, you can never have a trade surplus over time by being the reserve currency. We need to export dollars, our biggest export, because we can't provide the world enough in the way of dollars through trade alone. So over time, these countries have to sell their currency to buy ours, to buy oil, and to transact global business as collateral, and therefore the imbalance over time becomes greater and greater and greater. And that's why manufacturing goes to places like Cambodia or Vietnam, who just joined the BRICS, or China, or all of these countries that have depreciated their currency so severely against ours, making manufacturing so enticing and hollowing out our manufacturing base. So unless we want to never have a manufacturing capacity ever, which is not good in the world of AI, and
We're losing enough jobs to begin with. It's what we should be having.
well, that's just it. And so, but you can't be reliant on the world for everything from aspirin to aircraft parts and military components. You have to do it yourself. And I think we've had a great benefit for being the world reserve currency, but we've squandered it. And now
Squandered.
we have, because now, when we were the reserve currency, everyone took our currency for their stuff. And then when they're sitting on all this currency, they recycle it into treasuries. That kept rates low, asset prices high, and the goods at Walmart cheap. But that has to work on trust. And the trust has been broken largely, not only in our monetary irresponsibility, our fiscal irresponsibility, but also in weaponizing against Russia. That's a line you can't cross.
Yep. All right. Gentlemen, why is it that no one is talking about the oil tankers being able to go through the strait if they pay you on? You were right, Andy, about BRICS.
Well, the funny thing is that a lot of people would have said to you, this is the way that Trump gets at China because he gets his oil from Venezuela and Iran. Okay. Well, isn't it ironic that we're seeing $5 gasoline? The rest of the world is seeing massive increase in oil, but Russia, they're making a ton of money as oil prices have spiked and not having any problem selling it, because what we're so benevolent that we tell India, okay, we're going to lift the sanctions on Russia because of what's going on. You can buy now. We say you can buy. And China, if the ship has a Chinese manifest, onward you go. So China's getting the oil, Russia's selling their oil, and we're the ones who are feeling the pinch instead of them. It's an interesting Interesting situation.
Luke Miller, 3230 wants to know, why are premiums so damn high? Well, premiums actually are down a little bit, fortunately. We just brought them down over the weekend. So you should come to milesfranklin.com and check out some of the premiums. Or actually write an email.
To explain the email thing, because the premiums don't look as
Yeah.
good.
So when you go to the website, our premiums are higher than what we generally sell our metals at. The website is really geared for the smaller purchases, generally under $10,000. Anything over 10,000, we believe as an entity, you should be speaking to somebody, a professional in the business, to get a little bit more handle on it. And for that, we provide you with a lowered price sheet that has much lowered premiums than what you see on the website. And even from there, we're able to maybe knock a couple of bucks off even those premiums. So we do our best for it, but we don't make the premiums. We don't do it. Again, and
or the spread.
Most people think that, and right now there's still an enormous spread, especially silver, between the bid and the ask. I don't think most people, because they see spot price on television or in the paper or online, they see it as one number, and it's not. There's two numbers for every spot price, whether it's silver, gold, platinum, palladium. There's a bid and an ask, just like a stock. You always pay the ask, and when you sell, you get the bid. And the spread between the bid and the ask right now in silver is probably, let's see, I'm going to guess it's somewhere in the neighborhood of around 3%, maybe.
You can tell, you can see.
Let's see. Let's see where we're at right now. And we actually have a little bit more of a competitive bid-ask spread than most companies. But as of right now, it's okay. Do you have bid-ask on there? Because I got it.
It's 25 cents roughly right now.
Oh, that's not ours. Ours is way, way bigger than that on our bid-ask. So ours is, we have about $1.60.
No, I must be looking at the right.
So if we take $1.60 divided by 69.90, we're at about 2.5% between the bid and the ask.
Just on spot.
So that's on spot. Silver, gold is much more, is much less than the silver market. There you're only talking about, I think it's not even, it's 10, 12 bucks maybe between bid and ask on gold. So silver, it's because of what's happening. It never used to be that way. Right now, when silver was trading for a long time, even in the 40s, it was maybe between a 20 and a 40 cent spread. So it's gotten substantially greater as the volatility has gone up, as backwardation occurred, as everything in the industry has changed. This has changed alongside of it. So it's become the new normal. But premiums are down. I would definitely recommend either calling into Miles Franklin or writing an email.
The cost of doing business.
Yeah.
The cost of hedging went up 300%.
Cost of carry.
The cost of shipping and insurance has gotten expensive, much more expensive. The cost of carry has gotten a lot more. And if you don't hedge, well, what happens when you have these massive swings in your inventory? You're in big trouble if you don't push the bid price down. It's an unusual time. I've done this for 36 years. I've never seen anything like this. Not even close. Ever. Never. I would say it's an outlier. I would say it's probably not going to last very long. But our bid prices on metals are typically better than anyone in the country. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Without a doubt. And we scour the internet daily and multiple times a day to make sure that our buybacks are pretty much some of the most aggressive buybacks out there. And we don't, again, that is not a commission. That is a premium buyback. So all we do is tack a small portion to what ours is. And that's how we make our money. We're very transparent about it.
We were paying $9 over spot for junk silver for 3.5 years during the pandemic, and now it's way back a spot. It's a weird situation, and a lot of it had to do with margin increases that distorted the entire industry, including the refineries, which are a massive source of liquidity to the U.S. market. I would venture to say someone got in trouble for that, and I don't think you'll see those kind of margin hikes again.
Yeah.
The chaos it's created is unprecedented.
The next comment says it all. Frank Peter 9145 says it's all Fugazi-nomics.
Yeah.
It is. It's a quagmire of economic minutia, is what it is.
Wow. I mean, Well, and minutia.
Yeah, Quagmire.
Who are you?
Yeah, listen.
What'd you do with tattoo?
Left him at the building just like Elvis. That's it. All right, let's keep going.
Are you impressed by that?
All right.
Yeah.
She didn't even hear it.
You're not paying attention.
She's not wearing lipstick.
She never wears lipstick. She's chicken.
John, I could actually put you on stage right here. I could just hit add to stage. All right. Well, we'll see. I didn't do it, but it's always there. All right, let's see. Sweeney 55 with LBMA and COMEX Shanghai repositories at historic lows and the April contracts coming due soon. What are the odds of them running out of precious metals?
They seem to find a way to bleed down open interest continuously. I don't think you'll see that happen anytime soon, but we're getting to the point where it's getting serious. I think if it were going to happen, you would see, you could argue that the mechanics that we've been seeing where, we saw like 85% of what was delivered recently get purchased by a house account on COMEX. And that house account, in essence, is one of the players who is the intermediary between the buyer and the recipient or the buyer and the seller. But by doing it that way, instead of it going directly to the recipient, it gives them time they exchange warrants, they leave the metal unregistered, and it gives them time to work out a settlement off the visibility of the delivery report. I would think that it would happen. A greater chance it would happen in London, simply because they've been facing so much in the way of strain for the last year or two. Look, the COMEX is an exchange, and they will do what they can to protect it. I think instead, what you will see, what do you? My
knee, I gotta stand.
Oh, Kevin is having knee surgery. What's going to happen maybe before you see an outright default or force majeure is a outright loss in confidence, where open interest disappears, where no one wants to trade with the big banks, and if no one's trading with the big banks, they can't push the price around.
So if let's just say that we do drain the vaults and COMEX comes and says to these futures and options holders that they need to cash settle. Clearly, that's a breach.
That's force majeure. Is
there a legal remedy for it?
No, that says they can do that in the contracts.
So if they do that, because again, we use the word trust and faith, right? Does COMEX continue to be an entity that is going to continue to write bullshit paper going forward? Is it going to take one time and one time only, or no?
Well, I'm
not holding it.
I would say that you got to be out of your mind to trade with them if you think otherwise. There is a bill that was floated out, and I shouldn't even be talking about because I didn't read it. I just glanced at it. That has to do with the Silver Transparency Act or something like that, where they want to create a more equitable, transparent market. All I can say is that I think many of the sovereigns don't trust the COMEX anymore as is, and they don't trust the LBMA. That's why India is doing what they're doing. So this is why you're seeing perhaps lots of deliveries, exchange for physicals. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's almost hard to believe the numbers, I guess is what I'm really trying to say. The numbers that they show you are hard to believe. We've seen 120 million ounces of silver be delivered and leave registered in the last 6 months. I'm pretty sure that's the number since September of last year. And, it's a situation where slowly, not only are you beginning to see metal leave, and a bunch of metal just left the eligible category the other day, which is it's the eligible category are the bars that are not backing, or the metal not backing the bars or the contracts that are posting. That's just metal sitting in a vault somewhere. Off it goes. You're beginning to see a slow offtake that ultimately would, I think, massively render the COMEX untrustworthy. So I don't know how it plays out, but I don't trust them already. And if I don't, I'm sure a lot of the big institutions don't either.
Sweeney 55 says, come April, what price do you see India setting for their silver?
No idea.
I think it's going to be a higher number than it is going to be here in the States. I think that they're going to use a true or a much more true price discovery for the price of metals. That's what I believe.
That would incentivize arbitrage as
Yeah,
well. So
of course. just bringing it up because Billie Jean, God's queen, says now she's nervous. How do I change her depository from Delaware to another one? Whoever you work with, whether it's equity trust or your custodian, you could do a depository change form. The only thing I would tell you is probably wait until your anniversary is up. That way you don't have dual fees, and try and do so at least 30 days in advance. Giving you a heads up, it's not instant, and you will have to pay shipping costs. So just keep that in mind. But again, I'm a big proponent, as Andy is, of the segregated facility. I would do that.
Not to say they're a bad
Yeah.
company, they're not, but if your metal's not segregated, you should think twice.
Correct.
Period.
And also, I would second that with, it also is somewhat contingent on what metals you own. If you own all generic bars and rounds and it really doesn't matter, you might end up
Point.
on the other side. You might be getting somebody's better metals. So if you own quality, chances are you're not going to get quality when you decide to move to the new facility.
Well, not the same.
They're not the
You
same.
might.
You might. You just
I
don't
don't know
know.
if we'd say chances, but there is a chance that you don't
Correct.
get the same.
90% of the time, you are not getting what you put in, because it's not like it's a small room with a small amount of metals. There's a lot of metals, and if you have a 10-ounce bar, you're getting a 10-ounce bar, and
And
that's
for
it.
those of you who buy 10-ounce bars, you know what the difference can be between like a Royal Canadian Mint 10-ounce bar
And the generic, right?
and a Fugazi 10-ounce bar.
Yeah.
Oh, put something on
What?
the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
I will.
You know how to do it?
Yeah. that was
Okay.
something like, no, it was this question.
Oh, okay. Andy, you and your wife deserve a wonderful vacation somewhere beautiful for 2 to 4 weeks. I agree. I actually am planning on taking my wife, if all goes well, and my boss has let me, go to Italy for a couple of weeks this summer. I would love for Andy and John to join, but I think I was already turned down on that, right?
I didn't turn you down.
Who did? Well, who did? Andy turned me down? Why'd you turn me
I
down?
didn't turn anyone down.
I heard you turned me down. I'm just
There was
saying.
no turning down. I
I'm
don't know
just
any
saying.
specifics.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to go to Italy, but Italy.
Italy?
I don't know why you wouldn't want to go to
What
Italy.
movie is that? Italy.
No, Italy. It's just
What movie is that from? Italy.
It's not Italy. There's no
What
A.
movie is that
It's
from?
just Italy.
Like, can I go even without Andy? Can I be like the third wheel?
Yeah. What are you gonna
Good
do?
luck on that.
What wheel are you going with?
If I'm here all by myself,
Yeah.
what could possibly
Yeah, what could go wrong? Exactly.
Thank
all right.
you for that. We are going on a vacation.
Yes, you
Where
are.
going?
I'm not going with you. Oh, we're going. Yes, we're going like next week.
Yeah.
No, the week after.
But I'm still going to be working.
Surgery next week.
You are? Oh, me too. The following week. Oh no, the following month. Yeah. What are you doing?
If I'm moving my ovaries.
Oh, okay. Nope, no more kids.
Good
Well, at
thing.
least with me.
Right.
Right.
All right, let's just go here. Mr. Thespian 4 says at Miles Franklin Media, if the price discovery moves to China, they will cap the price because they want it cheap. They use it and then sell it to the world.
Unless they don't sell it to the world, and if they did, their incentive would be to have it higher.
Correct.
The game playing is you use the price set it, you play by our rules until they've accumulated all that they can get at the fake price, and then if you're selling it to the world, well, your incentive would be opposite. You could work out state-sponsored subsidies for manufacturing in China and sell it to the rest of the world at a higher price. I'm sure they'd figure that kind of stuff
Yeah.
out. I wouldn't count on them going to all this effort to accumulate the metal only to cap the price.
We have Deja Vu just giving us a shout out. I'm glad you guys are a watchdog on the Fugazis. Well, listen, we take pride in it. It seems to me these days, unfortunately so, there are probably more of the Fugazi companies out there doing what they do than there are quality companies like Miles Franklin. That's right.
And you got to do a lot of volume, or you got to, I guess, be Fugazi is what they're thinking, that you can't make enough money in such small margins.
I mean, think about it this way. We did almost $1 billion last year.
Yeah.
If we had the margins that these Fugazi companies
They'd
do,
have houses all around the world.
house around the world, you'd
Private
have
jet.
jets.
Yeah.
You'd literally be making $400 to $500 million based on that revenue.
That's just insanity.
That's what you'd be making. Granted, you'd probably have lawsuits up the yin yang and death threats and everything else that go along with it, but you also have to have not a whole lot of moral fiber to do what they
I
do.
don't know how these people do it because most of the victims are the elderly.
They are, and this is their retirement money. And again, just a rehash out there, if you haven't heard any of our podcasts in the past, if you go to a dealer and the first thing you see is IRAs and you don't see any pricing and it asks you for their free book on metals, don't walk, run. It is not the company for you. Whatever they are claiming is not accurate. Please.
Typically with a very polished spokesperson who
That's
probably
right.
has no idea what's going on.
And who's probably getting paid somewhere between 30 and 50, 60,000 a month to do that.
That's true.
Yeah, it is true.
I know it for sure.
So here's a good one. Bruce Robinson, what's your opinion on doing Roth conversions on a gold IRA at these prices rather than buying more gold? So look, I do think that right now is a very good time to do a Roth conversion, not financial advice. But given the fact that we've seen such a downturn in metals, this, in my opinion, I'm having a couple of clients do it as we speak right now. They were thinking about doing it in January, but the metals were extremely high. And they would have had an enormous tax bill. Not to say they won't have a big tax bill now, but it's quite a bit less than it would have been just 45, 60 days ago. So look, at the end of the day, if you believe in metals and you think they're going to be substantially higher down the road when you're looking to take money out of your IRA, then yes, I think it makes sense because the Roth, you pay your tax now, take the hit right now, and then it's in the Roth. When you take that money out, it's tax free. So yeah, I do believe in it. And I think it's a good time if you have the ability, and it will not bump your income level up to a level that is uncomfortable for you. Then I think it does make sense. That's what I would say. Let's keep going. Andy's not going to answer it, but I'll just put it up anyway. Ralph Ramsey, U.S. floor from silver to $70 to $300. I read an article all in between. Andy, what are your thoughts? I know you don't answer.
I don't know.
How about this?
I can tell you Bank of America says between 109 or 130 and 309.
I'm going to make it even easier for you. Yeah. Do you think that there's a potential for gold to get back to 5,500 by year end?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's an opportunity for silver to get back to triple digits before year end?
I think so.
Yeah. Then that answers the question. I don't think that you need to go, again, you can't get to 300 without getting to 100 first. So just get back to 100. I know that's how I look at things. And for me, I did the same thing when silver was at 20. I looked at it and said, wow, if I double, it's 40. And right now, if it doubles at 40, it goes to 80. And that's it. So, and right now, what? We're at $70.
It's up $70.
Yes. Yeah. The futures are there. So
What's silver up?
Silver's up 60 cents in the futures right now.
Okay.
So, and the spot market actually closed, I think it was roughly, we're at about 70 and a half. So we're still sitting about 50 cents higher on spot than we are in the futures market. So backwardation is still in effect.
Which is very unusual in the metal market. Very, very, very. Because
I have a seven-figure order that I'm looking to place, and I decided with my client that I don't know that the worst is in the metals. I don't. I think that we could get another kind of hit down. And I told him I don't really care.
I'd be surprised if we do. It seems to have kind of stabilized, but I don't want to jinx it.
I know. My thought is though, in the end game, since I'm not, I spoke to my brother about it and I said, man, this has just been a wild week, last 10 days. He goes, what does it matter? You're not selling it. You weren't selling it 120 silver. You weren't selling it 5,500 gold. What does it matter? It's a downturn. So he said, use it as an opportunity, which is what we've been doing. I mean, I got my delivery today, those 4 Eagles.
I didn't get mine, no.
No, I told Matt, send them to me right away. Should have told him to send
them.
Well,
I was supposed to get it. I saw that, but it didn't come.
Yeah, and I got silver that I put at the facility. But I'm looking, I'm waiting. I'm buying another monster box. If we get down to where we were last night, I'm buying another monster box right away. And you know that I've been buying a lot lately.
Yeah.
And again, the reason is I don't want to hold cash. I don't believe in it. I think that it's going to just continue to depreciate. And I think at the end of the day, if I look back a year from now, I have a very strong feeling we're going to see these numbers, and most people are going to say, should have taken advantage of it.
Way to go, Tattoo. You're
Yeah.
impressing me tonight.
Let's, yeah, I'm going to, John, I'm going to let you do it. That way I don't have to lean over and,
Oh, I'd love that.
oh, how about a contest and two
The
winners?
only problem is Tattoo's getting knee surgery.
Yeah, but we could do it after, we could do it in, I'll be back probably August.
September golf.
Yeah, I mean, I have this Saturday.
What if we had to do it up in Minnesota too?
How about my club championship round this weekend? That was a pretty good turnaround.
That was.
We had our club championship this weekend, and I was not in good shape. I was knee was killing me, lower back was killing me, and I was down 3 with 4 holes to go. I won the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th to come back.
That's hardcore. You are a good golfer.
And I got to tell you, as much as it was fun, I felt really bad for Ron. I did. Ron, if you're watching, I'm sorry. It was brutal seeing that turnaround.
I would love to do that. I think
Let's
that would
do
be
it.
fantastic.
Let's do it. We'll do it September. We'll host him here. We'll do lunch. I think that's a great idea. So maybe where are we? Where are we on subscribers, by the way?
Well, okay, can you just ask people to hit the like button?
Everyone's got to hit the like button. Now or like in general?
We'll just say in general.
In general, you got to smash the like button. You got to tell your friends and family. We are at, where are we at? On subs, 120? No, more than that. We're almost at 130, right? 124,000 subs. I mean, just a few short weeks ago, we were celebrating our 100. So what's our number? 150 now? Is that that's our next kind of like milestone? 150,000?
Well, we get another award at a million.
Well, yeah, we're still far away from that. But why don't we do that? Why don't we just do a contest and we can get them in here?
Problem is, they're from all around the country. Like, how are we going to get them down here? You going to pay for the flight?
No, I mean, like if they're on vacation, there's people on vacation in Florida.
What if we just go to them? Play wherever
We could do that. We could do that. Or we can get a course that's near them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. If you're in like Whistling Straits,
That's
or you're in
Wisconsin,
Bandon Dunes,
Oregon. Yeah.
yeah, we could do that. We'd love it. Let's go. We'll Andy and I will talk about it. We'll set it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
We have to put lipstick on.
Yeah. All right. John, let's you do the questions. I'm gonna follow your lead. All right. B Woods, B for you. Andy, what baseball cards do you prefer to collect? Player, past, and present. Who's your team? That's easy. Go.
I have every Mickey Mantle.
Yep.
Babe Ruth. Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio. The most of the cards I have are from the 50s and earlier. The tobacco cards from 1906, 7, 8, and 9. Mickey Mantle is my guy. Hang on. I got it. She won't leave me alone. Hang on. Mickey Mantle, old vintage baseball cards, all certified PSA.
There you go. There you have it. Okay. Do Andy or Tattoo have more stocks or more medals? I can unequivocally tell you that both of us have way more metal.
Yeah.
And I think that because we talk to each other about it, but if people only knew the percentage of our assets that metals
They'd call us dumb.
They would call us, I think that they would probably use other words.
Yeah.
Expletives, is that yeah, maybe.
You know, if I'm gonna hold you, you can't wiggle all over the place.
John, go to the one about Barber coins. I think there's one right there. What are premiums on the Barber quarters? Is that what it is? I'll tell you where our premiums are.
Those are old.
Yeah, they sure are. But they are very cool looking.
Hi.
I did a big Merc dime order today. Got about 25,000 in Merc dimes, which was, for Mercs. Yeah, that's the one. And I like the old school Bugs Bunny ad over there.
5% less than what?
I don't know.
I think they're all the same.
Are they talking about 90%?
I think they're the same weight as.
Yeah, I don't think that they're anything less. The Barber quarters.
Because they're old. They were
are,
used in commerce. There are not
yeah,
many of them that made it through in decent condition.
correct. The Barbers are, where are they?
Maybe you can answer this question.
Barbers are 14 over right
Uh,
now. That's on our sheet.
Yes, I did receive some fake Morgan dollars before. That's the only thing I've ever received fake. I also received a few fake gold bars.
Yeah, you remember that client that you told me that sent them into the
Y-
facility from
all from
Costa Rica?
Costa
Right.
Rica. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd received some fake Krugerrands too.
Okay.
Gold, but very, very, very few and far between.
Does Miles Franklin buy monster boxes or 500 plus ounces from the public?
Sure.
Absolutely. If your coin shop is paying 90% of spot, we can definitely beat
Way
that.
higher.
No
yeah.
question about it. Give us a call, info at Miles Franklin, or the phone number. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not going to give you my personal one. That's
Why
not
not?
fair.
952-929-7006.
Okay, say it again. It's 952
952-929-7006.
7006.
I don't know my three kids' phone numbers.
Got it. I don't know that one. I only know mine. So all right, rattle them off, Z. Let's go.
Okay.
Is there any rep at Miles Franklin that will actually give advice as to what to do? My rep says no, no, no. I cannot advise. I give advice to my clients all the time. The only thing that we can't do is give you financial advice when it comes to stocks, bonds, things of that nature. But we give advice when it comes to metals all day, every day. That's what we're
Give
here
you
for.
my opinion,
Yeah.
my advice, and whether you take it or not. I don't think I've ever had a call where I don't.
No, and you know what they say about opinions.
Yeah, I do.
7?
Okay,
Yeah.
another,
All right. Well, I have trouble selling back my 90% old coin half dollars at premium. I have heard junk silver can sometimes be hard to sell
It's
back.
never been hard to sell. It's hard to sell now because the refiners are gummed up and the whole market got screwy. I would not sell any junk silver probably until next year if I could.
Uh,
By then, I think you'll see everything back to normal. And like I said, during the pandemic, 2020 to 2024, I would have paid
23 especially
yeah,
during
at
March.
least $9 or
Yeah.
more over spot for anything you'd sell me. So
Yeah.
the
And I think we'll
market's
get back.
goofy right now.
And remember, that's
An
a
outlier.
and the 90%, it's a finite number of coins. You can only have, they only made X amount of pre 65 silver. So, you know, and refiners are sometimes, melting them down. Granted, right now they're not doing it, or they're doing it a lot slower than they used to be doing it. But I think that they'll have its day once again.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So yeah, and it's probably the best value, by the way, on the buy side that you can get. Commons Mike says, thank you, Andy, for continuing to put out great content. It feels like the entire metals community went silent the second the markets pulled back hard. Some did.
It's hard to, it's hard, but you can't be there just for the good times. And I always promised I would tell people when I think it's time to bail. I don't. I think this is professional traders pickpocketing, shaking free the excess, and I would think you will see a resumption of the same type of trend that we've gotten used to seeing recently. Don't expect it to be easy. It never will be. But,
Yep. All right, I
thank
think
you
we
for the
got.
kind words.
I
Appreciate
think
that.
we have enough for what? Maybe 3 more, and
Sure.
then we'll call it. I know you're busy day, huh?
Okay.
So we'll give it to 1:30, and then we'll call it.
Okay, well, this is just a comment. that
Okay.
is-
Bill Benda said, "Leave your politics at the door, Andy." I didn't think that you.
I don't talk about politics. When have I talked about politics tonight?
I don't know, but if Bill Benda, you might want to.
Everything is coin.
Well, yeah, but that I don't think he said anything political in your opinion tonight.
I
But
don't never say.
Bill Benda, I'd love to know what you thought Andy said was political in his speaking tonight. If you can leave a comment, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to address it.
Carry R 1958. Do you address the solar flares happening could impact the Earth?
Well, it could. It could. I mean, it's happened before. I forgot the name of it. It was during the days of what are those things called? DDD.
Oh, the Morse code
Telegraph.
telegraph. Yeah.
There is a name of a solar flare incident. So it's the same thing as basically electromagnetic pulse.
Yeah.
Could it happen? Sure.
EMP.
I mean, yeah, solar flares are possibility. I don't know enough about them
Me neither.
to talk about them, but this is one of the reasons, having something analog in a digital world is never a bad idea. Bill
Like the
Holter,
phone.
Bill Holter owns specifically bought, when I went to his house, a truck pre-1996 or something where the transmission was not electronic, specifically for that kind of event. So could it happen? Yeah, why not?
Sure. Can you hold up your pup and say that, yeah, from Pee Wee Herman, please?
Say what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where she's gone.
I don't know.
Three of them.
I'm gonna record. I'm gonna record this
No.
and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna record it and play it over and over and over again. Minnie, who's not so many. Minnie, who's not so many.
This is Minnie after Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Minnetonka.
Hey, say hello, Minnie. Yeah.
Oh boy, Isla's gonna freak.
Okay, we don't need to do this. I don't need to have the dog hour. Okay, they're gonna fight. Don't give me all three of them. I
Hey.
can't do it.
Here we go. This is Andy's family.
These are what I look forward to coming home to.
I got 3 also at home, but I can't hold one of them up. He's way too big. And one's, oh yeah, I have 2 at home now. One
My
that
God,
died.
did you forget?
Yeah. I also have my daughter at home. I forgot about her.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We got time for, I think, 1 or 2 more, Z. What do we got? I smarted off to Bill Holter and he beat the living hell out of me. I'm not surprised.
He's one of the toughest guys I've ever met in my life. He's a good friend of mine.
And has a mustache.
Yeah, he's got hands. He's broken them so many times. I swear to you, they feel like bricks.
He's also got dogs.
And he'll punch you in the arm, and it feels like it's ridiculous. He's a tough guy. Every time I've gone out with him, it's an experience.
You know that I still listen and look at Bill Holter and I think that's the Marlboro Man. That's what I think.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Tough as hell and very honorable, and you know where you stand with Bill, and he's been a friend of mine for a long time. I hold him in the highest of regards.
All right.
Is that it?
Well, I think we can be done. I'm tired.
Okay.
I guess that's it. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you coming by. So we're at 124.5. Next target, we're going for 150. And any information that you want to get with regard to precious metals, please email us in at info@milesfranklin.com. The phone number is going, down the bottom, 952-929-7006. That's the only way I know it. We will be here Monday. Yes.
so.
Let me see.
No,
Why not?
because I'm having surgery.
On what?
She's having
On Monday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bummer.
Wait, that doesn't mean you get to go to the casino.
No, it means we could do the show.
Yeah, we probably could.
Yeah.
We'll just
We'll
fill you
probably
up
be
with
back
drugs
on my.
and
Yeah, exactly.
put her
You'll probably
back.
be on drugs anyway. I'm on drugs.
I hope so.
Yeah. So most likely we will be here Monday. Usually same bat time, same bat channel. No, not in 2 weeks. Well, actually, Andy and I
may try
discussed it.
from-
We're gonna try it from the ship. We are taking
The love boat.
yeah, we're taking a cruise, and we had planned this for quite some time, and we are going to be 3 couples. I will be working while I'm there, but yeah, we're taking a cruise, and Andy and I said that we will definitely try to do Aruba 2.0 from the
No,
cruise.
Aruba 2.0.
No, but
Oh yeah.
being not here.
Yes.
So we will try and do it. I just hope the Wi-Fi is strong enough to do so. I believe it will be. And other than that, I appreciate you tuning in once again this week. Buckle up. It's a bumpy ride right now, but keep the faith. Again, we don't buy metals to sell and trade, invest, and get wealthy. It is wealth, as Andy always says. So just remember that.
You're very profound tonight.
Yeah, well, look, you got to balance out whether or not you want that fiat dollar that we know is going to be worth less and less every year, or the opportunity to own the metals that we know over the course of time has proven to be a better value with an investment. Now, I will tell you this before we go. someone called and said, silver's down 50%. I said, yeah, but it's also up 200% from where you bought it. Don't forget that. So,
Like I said, profound.
it's true. I mean, it's amazing how people forget that they're up 200%. Yes, it's down 50% or close to it from the top, but you're still up 200% in 2 years. It's not a bad return.
No, not.
With that, I appreciate you stopping by. As always, we will see you. Thank you, Javier. We will see you on Monday and enjoy.
Bye.